All right, greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the Marshy Titans set review. We're going to go over all of the cards in the new set Titans and talk about how amazing and wild they're going to be, unless they're going to be trash and wild, in which case we'll also talk about them. First up we have Death Knight. A bunch of the cards in Death Knight are dedicated to the Plague mechanic. So Death Knight is pretty much going to be only as good and wild as the Plagues are going to be. The first of the Plague cards is the Staff of Primus. So after your hero attacks, shuffle a random Plague into your opponent's deck. It is a 1-mana 1/3 weapon. The Plagues are Blood Plague, which they take 2 damage when it's drawn, and you heal for 2. Unholy Plague, they take 2 damage and you get a 2/2. And Frost Plague, they take 2 damage and their cards cost 1 more during the next turn. So that is a really strong Plague. And in fact, drawing any of these Plagues seems all right. This weapon seems good, but Death Knight has only really been real in Wild with even cost. So the Plagues are going to have to be pretty nutty to warrant Wild play. So I doubt that this part sees any play. Then we have Distressed Cavalier, which is, again, 2 Unholy. It is a 2-mana 3/2 Undead with Death Rattle. Shuffle 2 random Plagues into your opponent's deck. This does cost even. However, it is Death Rattle, not Battlecry, so it's a little bit doo-doo. But it does have synergy with Yelling Yodeler, so you could maybe build some kind of Nerubian Egg, Distressed Cavalier, Plague, even DK, but I imagine that's not going to be better than the current one. Down with the Ship, this is going to cost a Frost and an Unholy. So the package as a whole is 2 Frost, or rather is 2 Unholy, 1 Frost. So it's kind of a triple rune package, unless like we can somehow manage to get the double Unholy into our Unholy even. But there are more cards than just this one that cost 1 Frost. So I think it's gonna be tough. But anyways, 2 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion. If it dies, shuffle 2 random Plagues into the opponent's deck. It's a shadow spell. Is it going to be worth cutting Grave Strength and Marrowgar to run the full even package in even DK? Even Plague package in even DK, I doubt it. Frozen Over, 2 mana for a single Frost rune. Both players draw 2 cards. Your opponent cannot play them next turn. Frost spell. So this is like Research Project for Mage, except your opponent can't play the cards that they drew from this on their next turn. That's always kind of been a problem with Research Project and just mutual effects in general, is that your opponent often gets to benefit from their side of the mutual benefit before you do, because they get their full mana to play with it, and you spent some mana casting this. So this is a little bit interesting way to try to kind of mitigate that downside. Frost already has 2 mana draw 2, so this is kind of like you get to run 4 copies of that, and that's decent when you consider Death Chiller, which is the little guy that like pings the enemy face and one of their minions, or 2 separate things. I think you can hit 2 minions twice. That's much more of a standard thing, I would say. Maybe even Frost DK gets a little boost with this expansion, but I doubt it. Then we have Northern Navigation, Frost spell, 2 mana, discover a spell from your deck. If it's a Frost spell, freeze a random enemy minion. 1 Frost rune, so kind of the same boat as the other one. This is a little bit of a boost for like some kind of Death Chiller spice in Standard. They are both even cards, so you could just try to upgrade your even Frost DK with this, but I don't know that even Frost DK wants to play 2 0 tempo cards. It's a sweet card though. It's Thrive in the Shadows with upside. Next up we have Eulogizer. So 3 mana, 3/3, no runes. Battlecry, spend 3 corpses to deal 3. Forge, gain them instead. And it's an undead. So Forge is you can pay 2 mana at any time to forge it. So say we have this in our hand on 2, we can spend that 2 mana to forge, and then when we go to play this on 3 the next turn, it will have the forge effect instead of the regular effect. So it's 3 mana, 3/3, costs 3 corpses to deal 3 damage, or if it's forged, it's 3 mana, 3/3, gain 3 corpses, deal 3 damage. So I actually think that this is kind of a good card for standard, but I don't know what deck with odd cost cards is going to benefit from this in wild. Maybe like Reno Blood DK Copers like myself will enjoy having this as a small upgrade. All right, next up we have Hell Yeah. 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry, shuffle all 3 plagues into your opponent's deck. Plagues they draw this game are unending. So that's like when the plague is drawn, the plague goes back into their deck instead of just happening once. So what's nice about Hell Yeah specifically is you could run this in even DK as like you play it on 4 and then your opponent's Tony Druid can't really go off. And maybe you just play this and also the 3/2 just so that like there's more plagues or whatever. But like as far as like a draw through your whole deck APM thing, Hell Yeah is an interesting counter to that sort of stuff. And maybe for like a long Reno game, this will give you a little bit more of an edge if you have it early. But it is kind of just a tech card as far as like wild goes if you don't build around it completely. I'm really looking forward to this in standard. I hope that the whole package is really fun. But as far as wild goes, I think it's going to be a niche counter, if anything. Next up, we have Tomb Trader. So 4 mana, 4/3. It's again a Frost Unholy card. Battlecry, destroy a plague in your opponent's deck to deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. So this is nice. Like if the whole package was even, it would be pretty cool because then like I don't know. I think this is a good card, but the whole package is not even, and I don't think like the one like Hell Yeah plus the 2 cost thing plus this is enough to give up Grave Strength and Marogar in even DK. But I do think it's a cool card. The Primus. Okay, each class gets a Titan. The Titans are all broken, each and every one of them. Don't listen to anyone who says that any of those cards aren't good because they're all phenomenal. And the DK one is no exception. So this is the one real upgrade that DK gets in Wild this expansion, in my opinion. So Marogar is good enough. I assume this is good enough too. Even DK wants those late game value bombs. So 8 mana, 7/9. After this uses an ability, discover a card with that rune. So the way the Titan keyword is click on a Titan to use one of 3 abilities instead of attacking. And they all like functionally have charge. When you play it, you can do it. Once you've used all 3 abilities, then it can attack. So you play it one turn, you use the ability. Next turn, if it survives, when you can click it again to do another one, and so on. Eventually you run out and then you can attack. So after this uses an ability, discover a card with that rune. So we have Runes of Blood. If you choose that one, destroy an enemy minion. This minion and your hero gain its health. So you can play this and destroy like an 8L, like a giant or something. This will become a 7/17 and your hero will also get 8 health. Then we have Summon 2/3/3 Undeads with Taunt and Reborn. And the next spell you cast costs 3 less and it has spell damage +3. So like those are your options. You pick one of those. I imagine like this is the one going to get used the most often. You'll play it and like this will get to stick around for a turn and it'll also give you a little bit more breathing room. But just having the taunts up seems good. So yeah, I think this will go into even DK. This will go into like whatever DK deck gets played. Good card. Then we have Chained Guardian. Unfortunate that this costs 11 instead of 10, because if it costs 10, then I would say the Plague package actually has like a chance of being enough in the even DK, but it does not. So it's a Rush Reborn 8/5, costs 1 less for each plague shuffled into the enemy deck this game. If it ends up being too strong and maybe this gets changed to 12, we could maybe get to play it. But yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be enough to carry DK in Wild. Overall, I think that like for Wild, DK is basically not getting a set, but maybe it'll be fun in Standard. So then we have Demon Hunter. So first up is Crystalline Statue. It's an elemental, 2 mana, 5/4 rush, starts dormant, and after you draw 4 cards, this awakens. And it's good. It's not going to get played. Like, it's kind of a cool concept, but like, I don't think that this is good enough to force a spot in Questline Demon Hunter, which I think is still going to be the best thing to do for draw cards Demon Hunter. So there you go. Runic Adornment, 2 mana. Discover a spell that costs 3 or less. Shuffle 2 copies into your deck that cast when drawn. 2 of the what's that card archetype called? Treasure Vault Relics. Okay, yeah. Okay, so 2 of the relics cost 3 or less. That's pretty good. Standard. Argentine Golem, 3 mana, 1/5, has +1 attack for each card you've drawn this turn. That seems good. Standard again. Don't see it in Wild. It is odd, but like odd Demon Hunter, unfortunately, I don't think is really doing much these days. Disciple of Argus, 3 mana, 2/2, Death Rattle. Summon 2/2 elementals with taunt. So this is kind of a 3 mana 6/6 with a little bit of taunt. Death Rattle's bad. This is probably bad. Weight of the World, 3 mana for draw 2 cards. Forge, draw cards until you have as many in hand as your opponent first. So the first card I saw with The first version of this card that I saw was the forged version. And I thought this card was going to be phenomenal. I thought this card is going to be so good because Divine Spirit is great for Demon Hunter. Or Divine Favor, rather. Divine Favor is great for Demon Hunter. You can definitely build your deck to dump your hand. And then, you're probably never going to forge it. But if you do find yourself in a spot to forge it, the next 2 cards will be nice. That's kind of cool. But then this version of the card was revealed, the unforged version, and it's flipped. So it's Arcane Intellect first, and then you have to forge it for it to be Divine Favor. If it was the other way around, I would say this is like a brings odd Demon Hunter back level of card. But because it's the bad version initially and the good version after it's forged, it's expensive and probably not very good. Erodar Deceptor, 4 mana, 3/5 demon. Whenever you draw a card, summon a 1/1 demon with rush. Huh. Well, it seems a little slow for Wild. Seems a little slow for Standard. It's like Thunderhead, but like nerfed. Jotun the Eternal, 5 mana, 4/5, battle cry. For the rest of the game, cast a copy of the first spell you draw each turn at enemies. So I'm assuming that this is worded in a way that like they're trying to like save text space, and what actually happens is what this is meant to say is targeting enemies if possible. So I'm assuming that like if you top deck like Skull of Gul'dan or something, you'll still get to draw. But yeah, this all does seem like Relic Demon Hunter support, doesn't it? I think relics are like vaguely playable in Wild, so maybe we could do something with this if we really wanted to, but I imagine this is more of a standard card. Next up, we have Momentum. 5 mana, give your hero +4 attack this turn, cost 1 less for each card you've drawn this turn. So this card seems very good. I don't think it goes in Questline Demon Hunter. I think you would build like a super burn Demon Hunter. Maybe do it odd. All the odd cards are kind of expensive, though. Maybe you have to build a questline. Could we build a questline Demon Hunter that's all focused on burn and not focused on copying a bunch of brutes and stuff? I don't know. Not gonna lie, it's a little hard to imagine, but I think the card itself is good. It just needs more deck. All right, this is the Demon Hunter Titan Argus the Chumbo, the Emerald Star, 7 mana 5/9 Titan. Minions to the left of this have Rush, and to the right have Lifesteal. So that seems very good. I think Tony is already your end game in I think Tony is already your end game in Questline Demon Hunter. It's a little hard to imagine adding this, just because like I've tried adding more stuff to Questline Demon Hunter, and the more big bombs you have, the harder it is to kind of get going in the beginning. So maybe Tony solos the end game so hard that you don't need Argus. But anyways, so everything to the left of the Titan having Rush and everything to the right having Lifesteal is pretty significant. That's pretty cool if any of your board sticks around. You can also put your Wallopers to the right of it and get some Lifesteal if you're in a pinch. So the first option is discover a Death Rattle minion. It costs 3 less. That seems terrible. Reduce the cost of all minions in your hand by 2. That seems good. And summon 4 2/2 elementals with taunts. Seems all right. So these are going to have Lifesteal, right? Because they summon to the right. So if you play this and play the taunts, if your opponent has to trade into them, they're going to heal you. It's 2 each side. Oh, that's nice. Maybe. It's kind of cool. That's good to hear. Right. Yeah, it's a cool card. It might not actually be a wild card. Just be like it's wild quality. It's a really good card. It's just like the other 29 cards. Like what deck are you playing this in? I don't know. Demon Hunter. Mythical Terror, 7 mana 3/10 Demon Beast. Lifesteal at the end of your turn. Force all enemy minions to attack this. So this is like Hollow Hound if Hollow Hound was bad, right? Like just Hollow Hound is way better than this. Yeah, I don't see this in anything. At the end of your turn, force all enemy minions to attack this. Can you buff it? I don't know. Next up, oh, okay, we're done with Demon Hunter. So Demon Hunter, not looking like it got much for wild, to be honest. I don't know, really think we're seeing much here. On to Druid. But Marshy, this can attack every minion. Oh, okay, for sure. Philosophy. Elray was making a joke, Phil Nye. I usually accidentally say Shadehound. Sorry, Embrace Nature. 1 mana, draw a choose 1 card. Forge, it has both effects combined. So this is like Jerry, but different. In Wild, I think Jerry is always better than this, right? Because like you don't have to pay extra any extra mana into the Jerry to get both effects. You can play the important effect first and the less important one at your leisure. And you get the 2/1 body. Whereas this, to get it combined, you have to pay more than Jerry, and then you have to play them both right then. So like, it just seems like a standard card. Like this might be all right, but oh, this can hit a minion. All right, that's different. Nothing comes to mind. I don't know what minion you're making nuts with this for 3 mana, but yeah. So Forest Seedling, 1 mana, summon 2 1/1 saplings, blossoms in 3 turns. So when it blossoms, it turns into summon 2 2/2 treants. So this is like Living Roots, but instead of the option to deal quick damage, you instead have it so that if it rots in your hand for a couple turns, it's a better card. It has no nature tag, so the reasoning is the spell is you casting the seedlings. Like the spell is the seedlings. So it's a minion, but it's a spell. This should have the nature tag. um, but yeah, I think for aggro druid this is better than living roots in most cases, and we got some interesting treant stuff, and it could be enough, I think, considering aeroponics and mulch muncher, which are like really strong treant payoffs that have been waiting for efficient ways to make treants. So like we're either enough to get to actually play some treants and have it be worth doing, or we're close. You know, like we're so close. The saplings are not considered treants. They're not treants unless they turn into tutus. Lifebinder's Gift. All right, so this is the big fancy druid card for this set for Wild. 2 mana, nature spell, choose one, get 2 random nature spells, or reduce the cost of the spells in your hand by 1. So in Wild, I think we're mostly going to be choosing option 2. And what we're going to do with it is, prior to our auctioneer turn in Tony Druid, we're going to discount a bunch of our spells in hand by 1. And I can tell you from having recently played Tony Druid that being able to discount a couple of your 1-cost spells to 0 cost in advance is going to make it a lot easier to pop off with Auctioneer. And if you ever run out of gas, you have the option to get some nature spells instead. I don't think you're hardly ever going to choose that option, but it's nice to like, well, it's not nice, but like it's, you know, for the Tony enthusiasts, you know, it'll be nice to have the extra option to not run out of gas if you're like having a ton of mana and not enough spells, which has happened to me before. So niche, choose the first option. But so there's that. The other annoying thing it does is celestial alignment. So it does one of 2 things in a celestial alignment. It either allows you to play your celestial alignment a turn earlier, or when you play celestial alignment, it just counts your whole hand to 0. So I think that this is going to really boost those types of decks, and I'm not looking forward to it, but there you go. All right, next up we have Conservator Nymph. 3 mana, 3/4, Battlecry, transform a friendly treant into a 5/5 ancient with taunt. This card seems good in Standard. I don't see it in Wild, but it's a cool card. Frost Lotus Seedling. 3 mana, nature spell, draw a card, gain 4 armor. So it's like almost original shield block, not quite. But if you let it rot in your hand for 3 turns, it becomes Frost Lotus Blossom. So 3 mana, draw 2 cards, gain 8 armor. So it's a better Ferocious Howl. So slightly worse shield block into better Ferocious Howl. I think that this card is good. And it's also a nature spell, which matters in some cases. It's like, it's not, it's good enough in its regular form to where if you need to just play it, then you can, and not feel that bad about it. But like, if you do let it hang out in your hand while you're doing other stuff, it becomes really good. So I think that this, I don't know that you cut Ferocious Howl, but I think they, I think you'll, you'll play this in decks that play Ferocious Howl alongside it. I think it's really good. Disciple of Aeonar. So 4 mana, 4/4. Your next choose 1 card has both effects combined. So it's kind of like Fandral, except you guarantee that you'll get the combined effect, but you can't get more than 1 effect out of it. The 7-cost thingy. Well, so what is, how many 2/2s does that make usually? I could see this being kind of nutty in Standard, huh? Drum Circle, yeah. Like it makes 5 2/2s and it gives 2/4 taunt. That's pretty good. It's pretty nutty in Standard, huh? Is it nutty in Wild? No, but it's cool. Drum Circle, does that make treants? Can also just curve into Nourish. All right. Maybe Guaranteed Fandral is pretty good. Huh. I could see this possibly being something. It's gonna be an uphill battle in Wild, but maybe. Ancient of Growth. So 7 mana 5/5, choose one, summon 3/2/2 treants, or transform your treants into 5/5 ancients with taunt. So with this, you would get 3 treants and then transform them into ancients with taunt. Wait, this is just way worse Drum Circle. Especially with Mulch Muncher, right? Because like you need the treants to die in order to discount Mulch Muncher. So like Drum Circle is way better than this. All right, Cultivation. So this is the big treant payoff, like the big addition to the Wild treant package, I think. So give your minions +2/+2, cost 1 less for each treant you've summoned this game. 8 mana nature spell. So if we can play enough like living mana type stuff, living mana, Arbor Up, the forest seedlings, whatever, the cheapest, best treant stuff, or like most efficient rather. You don't need to buff a board of treants with this. You just need to discount it. And the treants don't have to die. They just have to be summoned. So like, I feel like there's some potential for Cultivation to be good. And that potential could even just be putting a Cultivation in the ETC in a deck that has 2 Poison Seeds in it, just as a way to close out games. So anyways, I think this is an interesting card. Aeroponics is really good. Mulch Muncher is pretty good. This is really good. So like we have a lot of really good treant payoffs. We just need to get the treants on the board, you know what I mean? Next up we have Freya, Keeper of Nature. 8 mana, 4/6, choose one, duplicate your hand, or summon copies of all friendly minions. So Druid's theme this set is Highlander effects with extra cost, extra mana cost. So this is like Elise with an extra choose one and cost 3 more mana. So you could get an extra hand, which is good. Or you could summon copies of all other friendly minions, which is also potentially good. In a Hearthstone of 3 years ago where Malagos Druid was still the best Druid deck. What are you going to do with this today? You're going to play Phlebidinous Floop in Marshy Druid. Get a bunch of lumbers in hand, copy them all with this, and then play them all. And then your opponent's going to Poison Seeds you. I think this is going to be a fun card to play with for people like me who like to do silly stuff. But I don't know that this is actually going to see any competitive play. Like even in a Ramp Druid, I don't know that this makes the cut. Or a Reno Druid. It might though. Titan, Refresh, copy Titan, Reno for standard. Oh, okay. So if you're running the other Titan, or like you would run the Titan, but if you're going to play the Titan, that's interesting. Yeah. Good addition to Chumbo Druid. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like it's going to be fun to play with in Chumbo Druid, but I don't know that it's going to be any good in a real deck. You also run the Flute minion for an infinite chain. That's true. Oh, you don't have to go Highlander to infinite with infinite naturalize anymore. Huh. All right, so then we have ANR, the Lifebinder. So this is the Druid Titan, 10 mana, 5/7. After this uses an ability, you get a 5/5 Ancient with Taunt. This is my second favorite Titan in the set. You get Spontaneous Growth, so you draw cards until your hand is full, and you get a 5/5 Ancient. You can restore yourself to full and get a 5/5 Ancient, or you can refresh all of your mana crystals and get a 5/5 ancient. So like I think this card is going to be really fun. I don't think any Marshy Druid lists are not going to have this in it for the foreseeable future. It gives you a Reno effect in your non-Reno decks, a second Reno effect in your Reno decks, coupled with like a better Coon and extra value if you need it. So like I think this card is really cool. I'm excited. All right, so that was Druid. Druid got, I think, a really good card, best card in the sets so far that we've talked about, or most relevant rather, and a bunch of interesting tools for the type of off-meta Druid stuff I like to play, as well as maybe giving us enough treant support to push it into viability, but maybe not. Maybe it's not quite there. We'll see. All right, so then we have Hunter. So first we have always a bigger Jormungandr. 1 mana, give a minion +2 attack, and excess damage dealt by attacks hits the enemy hero. So the obvious synergy with this is Hollow Hound. So you play this in the Hollow Hound. It cleaves, dealing 5 damage to 3 enemy minions, and does some excess damage to the enemy hero, while also healing you for 15. So pretty strong. Hollow Hound like barely makes the cut in Beast Hunter and Wild, so it's a little hard for me to see this being in addition to that deck, although it could be. There's also the 4-cost Infuse Cleaver. That's true. I played that in Beast Hunter for a while. Maybe you could just run both of them and then add always a bigger Jormungandr. Interesting. So some stuff to play with, but they're like, I remember looking at the other cards and thinking like Reno Hunter might be something. So like that would maybe play that card. I'll have to like look at them and think about it again. Putting it on Hydralodon only affects the 5/5, right? Not the heads, correct. Awakening Tremors. 1 mana for get 3/4/1 worms that cost 1. So this card seems potentially pretty good in Beast Hunter, because then you could play this on 1 and then like either play 2 of the 4 worms on 2, or you could have them for your Starving Buzzard. It might be a little bit low tempo initially, but I think it could be okay. Hard to say. Really good in Standard. Good charge burst. The thing is, like, the whole deck is good charge burst already, though. And I think Pelican is better, like, playing at the turn 4 so that it pops open with the Rhino. So it would have to be good enough otherwise to be good enough. Like, being good with the Rhino is nice, but I think it has to also be good enough on its own, and I'm not quite sure it is. But maybe it is. I don't know. Absorbent Parasite, 2 mana 3/1, Magnetize Rush, can magnetize to mechs and beasts. So this is 2 mana, give a mech or beast 3 attack, 1 health, and rush. How good is that? I don't think so. It doesn't have a tag itself. And like in the decks that want to play mechs and want to play beasts, they want to have the tag. So like maybe if this was an amalgam. It's good with barrel and standard, maybe? I don't know. I think it's kind of bad. Bait and Switch. Secret. 2 mana, obviously. When a friendly minion is attacked, give it +3/+3. Usually, secrets that require the enemy to attack your minion are not good in Wild, and it doesn't matter how good the payoff is. So, I don't really see it. Seems good in Standard, though. Observer of Myths. 2 mana 1/4. After you summon a minion with more attack than this, give all friendly minions +1 attack. Pretty interesting. Reminds me of I think it was Ravnica Block had something like this in MTG that was pretty iconic. Don't they play Oasis Ally now? You're I said usually, right? You're talking about the exception, not the rule. And the Oasis Ally is like a tech card. So does Does this make a Freezy Freezerson that automatically beats Questline Druid? I don't think so. Anyways, this I don't think this is very good, but it is a card. So Titan Forged Traps, 2 mana, discover and cast a secret. Forge, do it twice. So you're not cheating any mana with this, but you do have a little bit of versatility, plus a little bit of optional value. You know what? I think it's better than the Dark Moon one, the corrupt one that Mage had. Hunter secrets, I think, on average, are better than like the average random Hunter secret. I think is better than the average random Mage secret. Like Mage has so many straight up duds, but also this is like kind of it's castable unforged, where the other one is not. So I don't think this is great. I think it would be like a Reno Secret Hunter would consider this, and otherwise doesn't really get anything. Fable Stable Hand, 3 mana, 3/3 rush. Battlecry, if you control a minion with 4 or more attack, gain +2/+2. So you play your worms, you play 2 of them on 2. On 3, you float 3 mana, and then on 4, you play a worm and you play this. Then it's a 3 mana 5/5 rush. Agrimar, the Avenger. 6 mana 3/7 Titan. Equip a 3/3 Chumbo. Yeah. Whatever that word is. Tashkabrashk. Alright, so Tashkabrashk is just a 3 mana 3/3 weapon. His Titan choices are give your weapon after your hero attacks, draw a card. So it's like this becomes 3 mana 3/3, draw 3 cards. Give your weapon after your hero attacks, summon a 3/3 enforcer with taunt. So like that's pretty good to get 3 of those. Give your attack +2. Give your weapon +2 attack, and your hero is immune while attacking. So it can be 3 mana 5/3 weapon for smork purposes. All 3 of these options are good. This is a bit of a flat effect. It's just kind of a general good stuff card. It's not as flashy as some of the other ones are, but I think all of the options are really good. I think it's just like a really solid card. You'll probably play it in like the only thing that it might not play it is Beast Hunter, just because you already have so much competition in the 6 slot and it has no beast synergy. So yeah, I think this is a Reno Hunter will play this for sure. Secret Hunter. Good in Reno probs? Yeah. Nice and easy. So yeah, I think this is a really solid card. So Starstrung Bow, this is the big, I think, Hunter edition for Wild. So 6 mana, 6/2 weapon, expensive, but 6/2. Cost 1 less for each friendly secret that has triggered this game. So the Wild deck that pops up here and there that runs secrets is Even Hunter. So Even Hunter can also play the Titan and would if it's a real deck. But it has a bunch of good secret options, and it's going to be pretty easy to discount this at least by like 3, and then I think it's pretty good. So especially because like this is friendly secrets that have triggered, you don't have to actually play them. So your Mad Scientist and your Face Stalker Chumbo is still going to be pretty good as far as like getting this down. So yeah, like 3-ish or less mana for 12 damage, pretty good. Two guitarists? What's the guitarist do? Next up we have Hodir, Father of Giants. Hold the door. Durability +1. It's kind of spicy. So 8 mana 8/8 battle cry. Set the stats of the next 3 minions you play to 8/8. So this is gonna be interesting. What could you do? I mean, like, what you do is like you play this, and the next turn you go bore or something, and do 24 damage to your opponent's face really cheap. You could, on like turn 9, play this, and nothing has rush and lifesteal at 1 cost. Rhino plus 2 young Dragonhawks. That's spicy. All right, so there's a lot of like silly combo potential with this. I think it's a little bit slow for wild, but I guess standard's pretty happy there isn't a lot of like cheap charge. Target dummy pog. Is there any other reason to play cute hunter? There isn't, right? There's nothing. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's gonna be so toxic in standard. Can you imagine it? You play this on 8, and then you play the Hollow Hound. Oh man. So much so silly. But yeah, I don't like toxic is a really strong word because this costs 8 mana. You have to play an 8 mana 8/8 and survive. It's probably gonna be fine, just fine. 8/8 Hollow Hound plus bigger Jermonger. Oh yeah. Man, chat standard's looking spicy. I might if wild's unbearable, I might try streaming some standard this expansion, see how that goes. Anyways, okay, so that's Hunter. I think Hunter's got some like interesting stuff. Like it's got some Reno potential, it's got some secret potential, and it's got some even Hunter potential, really. So there's a lot to play with here. We'll see what we can do. Next up is Mage. Discovery of Magic. So 1 mana, discover a spell from a spell school you haven't cast this game from any class. So the idea behind this one is you activate your spell school cards by playing Frost, Fire, and Arcane first, so that you can go grab the less common mage things like Shadow, Holy, Nature. Is that it? Are there only 6 of them? Fell. So like so yeah, the only reason to play this is to increase your spell school count, because we've learned that 1 mana discover something is not good unless it discounts the something by 1 across the board. So yeah, the payoffs have to be there. Aqua Archivist. So 2 mana 2/2 elemental battlecry. The next elemental you play costs 2 less. What was nerfed by 2? Sorcerer's Apprentice. So if you play this on whenever, anytime before the normal Ignite Mage pop-off turn, suddenly your Chandler costs 3, which makes up for the Sorcerer costing 4. So if you wanted to Ignite Mage again, this is the unnerfing that you've always wanted. There's also been a lot of like tradable cards that have been there are a lot of tradable cards that have been printed since then, so you have more options now. Like more of your like filler cards can be replaced with tradables. Thanks, you hate it. Me too. If I'm honest, I don't think this is enough for Ignite Mage, but I think that's this is the potential of it. It does do other things, like anytime there's an elemental in a mage deck, you could think about maybe including this. Rattlegore gifting a tier 1 sept You've Snake. Rattlegore, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. So this is like a free 2/2 in a deck that has an elemental, or it like ramps elemental to come down sooner. I think it's a really good card. Anytime that there's like an elemental that wants to be cheated out early, or a deck that wants to have a free 2/2, you'll consider this. Standing a turn, playing a 2/2 seems like enough of a downside. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's fine. All right, so Chillomatic, 2 mana, 2/3, magnetic, freeze any character damaged by this minion. It's a mech. This looks very silly. I've never actually like taken a second to absorb its art before. It's kind of funny. So this gives Mech Mage even more of an edge on Questline Druid. It was like the weaker of the two mech decks into Questline Druid because Bubblebot just kind of solos Questline Druid. And yeah, Rip Chugga Chugga, the old one, not is super power crept by the magnetic keyword. But yeah, you put this on your shark, and then the shark just kind of freezes all of the things that its pings hit. I can imagine that'll be a little annoying in standard, to the point where I wonder if one of those two will catch a nerf at some point. But who knows? I think this, like, if Mech Mage gets played, it'll play this. I think this is a good card. Molten Rune, 3 mana, deal 3 damage, get a random spell, forge this cast twice, fire spell. So what's nice about this casting twice is your spell damage will hit twice. I think that's more of a standard thing though. So like in Wild, we have so many cheap 1 mana things. We have so much access to cheap 1 mana stuff that we don't really need to double dip on a 5 mana card. But like in Standard, you forge this whenever it's convenient, and then you play this on your Sif turn. You get to double dip on Sif while also getting more random stuff to potentially deal more damage later. So I could see being really good there, but I don't really see it in Wild. Inquisitive Creation, 4 mana, 3/4, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, mech, improved by each spell school you've cast this game. So this card is very good, right? Like if you can cast, if you cast Wildfire and like Ancient Mysteries, getting yourself an ice block or something, this is dealing 4 damage to all enemy minions. So this is a really good defensive tool for a deck that has easy access to a few spell schools. You only need like 2, right? If you play this on 4 and you deal 3 damage to all enemy minions, that clears all of the important stuff like Anchored Totem, Ship's Cannon, Jolly Roger, all that type of stuff. And if you hit 1 more, then you're like hitting the 4 health breakpoint, which is important for even Shaman once they play the Totemic Might and stuff like that. So this is just a kind of a nutty mage board clear. I think Hero Power Mage will be pretty interesting with this. And it could even be that Secret Mage is interesting with this, right? Because Secret Mage has like arcane, fire spells, frost spells in it. Maybe a Reno Secret Mage, I don't know. But anyways, this is a really solid card. This is amazing. Any like slower mage deck will consider this. Oh, we have the Blizzard patch notes. All right, let's go over this right quick. You know what? We'll finish Mage first, and then we'll go over these notes. How about that? Cash me outside. Unchained Gladiator, 4 mana, 4/4 elemental. Draw a card. Repeat for each elemental you played last turn. How good is this? So you can do like, Kindling Elemental, the Aquata, whatever the Tomb Drop is, Elemental. You could play a bunch of Elementals before this pretty easy, and then you draw a bunch of cards. You know what? That's actually kind of interesting. I'd have to like re-examine all of the elemental payoffs to see if we could do like an elemental deck, but the elemental deck would be like Hand Mage, right? Don't call it a 1-star card. Look how pretty it is. You don't see the deck though. I think I see the video. I think we can make a video with this finally. Wisdom of Narbadarbra. So 5 mana, arcane, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each different spell school you've cast this game. So actually, between the new AoE, the what's that card called? The one that Wild has. It's from Dead Mines. The pirate. What's it called? It's killing me. One of you remembers. I know you do. Surely. Multicaster, thank you. So, okay, multicaster, this and the AoE, I think like the spell school deck looks pretty spicy, actually. This card might make it enough for Discovery of Magic to be worth playing. Even then, I really don't think so, because the wild Discover pool is so garbage. But yeah, it'll be hard to say. I don't know. Because if you can get Book of Specters into your deck, then we have 4 spell schools in wild. So this will get down to 1. So you really do need to make it. Maybe this one isn't as good in wild, actually, because like you'd need to run Discovery of Magic to get this all the way down, and you really don't want to run Discovery of Magic. So maybe I take it back. Maybe we're just running Inquisitive, Creation, and Multicaster for our spell school payoffs. All right, Norganon, the 6 mana 3/8 Titan. After this uses an ability, double the power of the other abilities. So, if this sticks around to do its thing again, you win the game. So your options are deal 5 damage, enemy cards cost 1 more next turn, or cast a random mage secret. So this really does have to stick around to be good, right? Like this isn't just kind of like good all on its own. I don't know. Enemy cards costing 1 more next turn is pretty good, and then you can get 2 secrets. So like this seems like Seeker Mage support, right? Like it's a nice late game bomb. Maybe Cloud Prince that doesn't require the the secret to still be up. But yeah, the dream, right, is to like do this into this into this and hit him for 20 damage. It's pretty spicy. A health is a lot. It's like enough to like keep me thinking about it. But ancient knowledge, the turn you play this, the fact that it hits spells and minions means that maybe this buys the Norganon a turn. It doubles each time, Vasuki. So 5 doubles to 10, doubles to 20. How do you use or trigger the abilities? You get to it does it instead of attacking, and Titan gives them charge effectively. So you play it, you choose one. If it sticks around next turn, you choose the other another one, and if it sticks around the third turn, you choose the third one, and then on the fourth turn, it has no more abilities left, and it can attack. So yeah, actually, this like maybe seems like the weakest Titan so far. It's still good. I still think it goes in Seeker Mage, but like it's really gonna lean on how effective Ancient Knowledge is as far as keeping it around for a turn. Next up, we have Sif. She is Sif, he is Malagos. They are not the same person. They may have similar spell damage, they may have similar colors, but they are different nonetheless. All right, so this is Malagos. 6 mana 4/6 spell damage +1, and it's improved by each spell school you've cast this game. So if you can manage to build a deck with Book of Specters, then you can have Fire, Frost, Arcane, and Shadow, which gets this to 5 spell damage, which is pretty good. But I don't think 6 mana Malagos is enough. I feel like a deck built to take advantage of this takes better advantage of Mozaki. Reverb is Shadow? What is Reverb? Hearthstone Reverb. Oh. Huh. I didn't think about Reverb. It's pretty spicy. Maybe. I don't know what you're doing with it, though. It's like Book of Specters draws you cards. Reverb copies what? This on the kill turn? So like that leaves you with 1 mana if you're at 10 mana. We're not doing that. Sunwell is holy. All right, this card's trash. I don't know. I think that like in Wild, a deck built to take advantage of Mizaki is going to look very similar to a deck built to take advantage of this and be much better, because Mizaki, like with those same tools, scales way harder than this, has more extra mana, and I think it's just better. But it's cool. I'm rooting for it. The signature looks amazing. I'm going to try really hard to make it good if I pull it. Elemental Inspiration. So 7 mana, summon a 4/5 Vortex with a random bonus effect for each spell school you've cast this game. So the way this is worded, you would think that it's a 4/5 that gets a random bonus effect for each spell school you've cast this game, which would be terrible. But it's so bad that you have to wonder if it's actually the text that's just worded a little bit differently. And that is the case, yes. You get an additional 4/5 with its own random bonus effect for each spell school you've cast this game. So it's not worse when Amalgam banned. It's better. 9 mana 3/3. What's her face? What's that card called? Allura, is that her name? I forget it. Dragon Caller Chumbo Prime. So is this good? Any good? I don't know. I think it might be a little better than people give it credit for. It's kind of a significant. So let's say you cast just the regular 3 mage ones, Arcane, Fire, and Frost. You're getting 4/5s with random bonus effects for 7 mana. That's not bad. I don't think that this is going to make big waves in Wild, but I think it's like playable if you want to do some kind of funny mage deck. All right, so that was Mage. What did Mage get? It got a little bit of like, it got potentially Ignite Mage support, and it got a little bit of support for maybe Secret Mage or Hero Power Mage. Rune Mage maybe gets a little bit of a boost. I think that like Inquisitive Creation is pretty significant for a deck like that. I'm actually pretty excited to build probably Reno Hero Power Mage with the new spell school stuff. So I'll have some fun with that, even if it's not that great. All right, let's look at these. Let's look at these patch notes. All right, so patch notes. There we go. So 2.7 is launching tomorrow. Prepares for Titans. Titans are making their way to Hearthstone. It's Awakening, blah, 145. All stuff we know. In-game event, Old War Grand Championship. So you complete some quests, and then you get, ooh, that's a cute picture at the end, I think. Hard to tell, but you get like a bunch of packs, and you get a hero portrait. Ooh, it's a Death Knight. That's cool. Starting on August 3rd, vie for the favor of the Titans in a special in-game event celebrating the launch of Titans. From August 3rd to 22nd, complete event quest, earn experience, special event rewards track, complete some chumbo, and get some packs. It's nice. And then you get a Death Knight skin. So new core, Paladin auras. They're adding 2 auras to the core set to replace secrets, I guess. So whenever a friendly minion attacks, give it. Oh, this is like good timing, right? Because we're going to talk about Paladin here in a second. But whenever a minion attacks, give it +2/+1, last 3 turns. Really good in Mech Paladin because it doesn't conflict with Vindicator, and it gives them like extra pressure immediately, the next turn, and even if they're devolved, it makes that board matter. So I think Crusader Aura is pretty nuts. And then Resistance Aura, your opponent's spells cost 1 more, last 3 turns. I don't know how good this is, but I think it's better than Rebuke because it's like a persistent effect. I could see it being really annoying, but I don't know if it's any good. This side had to play with, but Crusader Aura I think is nuts. The auras have an effect that lasts for a few turns. After you play the card, these 2 cards will be automatically added to the free core set with patch 27. There's also 1 more aura card in the Titans set that can be attained through all normal means. I forget which one it is. Oh, that's the one that lets you play mechs. All right, so then we have some Battlegrounds updates, Duels updates. Twist beta ending soon. The current Twist beta is coming to an end at the end of the season. On July 31st, after the beta ends, Twist will be temporarily unavailable while we prepare for the formal launch. Thank you for trying out this new mode and giving your feedback. Twist is scheduled to formally launch on September 1st with a new format and a fun surprise. All right, very cool. And then that's all that is. So that was that one. Then we have this one. So the Titans track refresh. All right, as predicted, Agrabarga is going to be on the reward track. The free track for Titans will include packs for Titans, standard packs, and a random epic card, 2 random legendary cards, tavern tickets, a new card back, and a lot of gold. There are also 14 golden cards and the Ignis, the Eternal Flame legendary core from the set. For finishing the reward track, you'll get to choose from 1 of 10 returning hero skins. Very cool. These 14 gold cards are not craftable, whatever. All right, does it show me what the skins look like? Oh, look at that. Look at that Sargeras. That's pretty cool. I like Diamond ANR too. That looks sweet. Oh, this is what I thought was ANR. This is ANR. All right. So there's that. Get these 2 coins. Do we have something that shows the skins or no? No? All right. Well, guess we'll have to look forward to those. On back to the review. X21 Repair Bot. 1 mana, 1/3. Death Rattle. Return any mechs magnetized on this to your hand. How good is this? How much do we magnetize? I'll give it an out of 5. It's probably, like, I could see it making the cut, but I don't think it's, like, amazing. Inventor's Aura. So your mechs cost 1 less last 2 turns. So I instantly thought this was going to be amazing and wild, but then it was pointed out to me that you really want your Vindicator to hit Sonar Detector, and this would conflict with that, so you probably don't run this. Noble Minimot. 2 mana, 2/3 mech. Magnetized after this attacks, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1. I think this is very standard. I don't think you play this in Wild. Like in Wild, you're trying to vomit out a bunch and win on the spot. You know, like you're not trying to get incremental value with multiple attacks. So. Astral Serpent. 4 mana, 3/3. At the end of your turn, if this didn't attack, draw 2 cards. So this is 4 mana, 3/3. Effectively Battlecry, draw 2 cards. But no, not even, because you get them at the end of the turn. So 4 mana, 3/3, you get 2 cards. And then you can choose, if it survives, you can choose to either draw 2 more or attack. Oh, it's a dragon. That just hit me. It's a dragon. I don't think that pushes the needle. I think it's probably pretty mid. If this has any potential, it's in like a Reno Dragon Paladin, but even then, meh. Would this be broken if it always drew 2? Probably not. Judge Unworthy. So 4 mana, set a minion's health to 1, then deal 1 damage to all enemies. So it's destroy an enemy minion and then deal 1 damage to all enemies. Better swipe? It's swipe that doesn't go face. I don't know. It's probably bad. Stoneheart King. 4 mana, 3/2 Death Rattle. Summon a 2/2 Earthen that gains +2/+2 for each other Earthen you've summoned this game. So there's only a couple of these Earthen cards. After this summon, gain +2/+2 for each other Earthen you've summoned this game. So the idea is you use one of these Earthen summoners, and then you use the other res cards to keep resurrecting the Earthens. Death Rattle. Tears. So 5 mana, holy, resurrect 3 different paladin minions. Different paladin minions? They have to have different names, or they have to be different deaths? Like, can I summon 2 Earthens, have them both die, and get 2 Earthens back? Or is it the one, just a single name? Different names, probably. Oof, terrible. Not enough. It's not enough. So you can forge it to summon another one. Yo, Rattlegore gifting a sub to Delitzking. Thank you so much, Rattlegore. I appreciate you. So it's 5 mana for summon 3 2/2 versions of things that have died, or 7 mana for 4 of them. Meh. Disciple of Midas, 6 mana, 4/6. At the end of your turn, summon a 2/2 Earthen that gains +2/+2 for each other Earthen you've summoned this game. Oh. So you play... I wish that there was more of a package. I don't know. The resummoning ones just don't seem like they'll consistently hit the Earthen or summon enough of them. But I mean, like, I might be thinking too small. This could end up being all right in Standard for all I know. The fact that you get to run 2 of these, the second Disciple of a Midas is probably going to be pretty nutty, right? So, like, you play an Earthen or 2 from the first one, the 2 mana one. This will summon a couple, and then the second one will summon a bunch, and they'll be huge. Huh. Midas, the Peacekeeper. So 7 mana, 1/8 Titan, taunt. Your minions can't take more than 2 damage at a time. So that effect is actually pretty ridiculous, right? Like, it's going to take 4 separate attacks to get through Peacekeeper, no matter what the stats of the thing are. All Earthens get +2/+2 for each previous Earthen. Yeah, it's on the token. So then this has taunt, so it protects your other minions, and it requires 4 whole hits to get through. Reinforce, so draw 2 minions, set their attack health and cost to 2. So if you're running just this and some expensive minions in your deck, that's pretty good. Then give your other minions +2/+2. Or set the attack and health of all enemy minions to 2. So if your opponent has a giant board, you can ruin it. Good Titan, solid Titan. I imagine it sees play in any kind of like Reno-ish Paladin or slower control Paladin in Standard. Tier, 7 mana, 4/5. Battle Cry, resurrect a 2, 3, and 4 attack cost 4 attack Paladin minion. Oh. So you summon... This has 3 attack, the Earthen has 2 attack, and my friend here has 4 attack. Ew. Huh. Alright. I can see maybe I don't have the vision for this deck in Standard. In Wild, I think... no. I think no. No. But we could get like a Mech Warper and a Vindicator and a Bubble Bot with this. Nah. Alright, so how good is the Paladin set? I think Mech Paladin gets a pretty big upgrade, and it was already an underplayed deck. Reno Paladin has some stuff to play with, but I don't think that like... I don't think that this is going to be a huge game changer. On to Priest. So we have Astral Potatotron. 1 mana, 1/1 has +1/+1 for each other Astral Automaton you've summoned this game, and it's a mech. So you run 2 of these, and you run Insight, and you run Raised Dead, and all the other copy cards, and you keep on summoning Astral Automaton until you've activated your Ungoro quest, and you get your 40 health. And then you keep summoning Astral Automatons. And then you play Xyrella. And... oh, these aren't Death Rattles. Oh. These aren't death rattles. Of course they're not. All right, so what do you do instead? Nix the fun parts of everything I just said. So you're still running the Raise Dead, you're still running the Animate, you're still running the Insight, and then you lose. Like everything you would do to support this card, you would just play the boar instead, right? So I don't know. This would be fun for a video maybe, but it's not going to be any good. Creation Protocol. 2 mana, discover a copy of a minion in your deck. Forge, get another copy, and it's a holy spell. So obviously not a Reno Shadow Priest card, but if you're not running Shadow, this is like Reno decks have always valued their minions more than their spells. So having a discover a copy of a minion in your deck when the minion quality is so high, I think that's pretty good. And depending on what you discover with this, it could be pretty devastating to, like, you know, forge this and get 2 extra Zephrys or something like that. So it may be a reason to maybe calm down the minion inclusions in Arena Priest, but it's only 1 card, so you don't want to calm down too much because, you know, what if you don't get it? So yeah, I think this is a good card. I just I don't think it's like, you know, really gonna change the way we evaluate Reno Priest. This is also the first of its kind for combo priests. Is there a minion we want enough? Oh, you know, we can get our automaton, you know, like look at that. Get some extra boars. False Disciple, 2 mana, 2/2, Battlecry, discover a legendary priest minion from the past. So I'd have to look through the priest minions again. I think this is going to be kind of a nutty card in standard because they all seem all right. For wild, I mean, that basically sums it up. I don't think it's happening. Grace of the High Father, 3 mana, restore 8 health, holy. That's pretty decent. Discover a card that costs the amount overhealed. Huh. If you don't overheal, do you get a 0 cost or do you get nothing? No 0 cost? All right. Well, then this is just whatever that thing's called. I don't know. This is bad, right? It might be all right in standard, but I don't think it's any good in wild if you don't get the 0 cost. And even then, you know, discover a target dummy. Is that good? Oh, I guess it could hit a spell. There's some good spells. If this lets you discover a 0 cost, I could see it in wild actually. All right, Student of the Stars, 3 mana, 4/3. Shuffle a copy of this into your deck with permanent +3/+3. All right, this got 2 separate Jade cards, huh? This is like the worst one yet, though, right? Maybe not the worst one yet. I don't know. Like the Tiger's worse. The Tiger for Druid. Bottom Feeder is better than this. Costs 1/3 of the amount. Ignite and Jade Idol are obviously way better than this, but I don't know, it's kind of cool. I used to like this this type of thing a lot more. Like if they'd released this 5 years ago, I'd have been stoked out of my mind. But like my cope levels are at an all-time low, so like I'm not gonna get excited about the infinite 4/3. But I don't know, would standard even want that? Probably not. It's just a stat pile. The Stars Align, 3 mana, transform minions in your hand into ones that cost 3 more. They keep their original cost. Ew. So Priest is Mage and Shaman now. Serenity, 4 mana, holy spell. Okay, so this reminds me of like this reminds me of like the Dark Council in Warlock, right? But it costs 3 times as much. So like Slightly better Dark Council? I don't know. Let's say slightly worse. The flavor text? Sweet, 3 Desert Obelisks. Oh my goodness, where's Vapod? He loves that card. It's also an arcane spell. Wait, it is? Okay, so first of all, this character, I feel like, should be a mage minion. But also it's an arcane spell. So why is this in priest? Who did it? Which of you did it? Which of you put this mage card in priest? It was you, Pescado? What are you doing? All right, so Serenity. 4 mana, give all enemy minions -2 attack, destroy any with 0 attack, holy spell. So this is like Shadow Word Ruin. Except if it doesn't destroy the thing, it still at least affects it. So it'll have -2 attack. Oh, horror. Yeah, you're right. Horror. Ruin is the good one. That hits the 5 or more. All right. So Shadow Word Horror. It'll give the minions -2 attack and then destroy it with 0 attack. So functionally, as far as Shadow Word Horror is concerned, it does the same thing, except that it also reduces the attack of the things that weren't enough to kill it. So if you're gonna do a what's the old Dark Lair tech? Does anyone remember? What's that card called? Wave of Apathy, thank you. So if you're going to do a Wave of Apathy, Shadow Word Horror combo in your deck, this will be slightly better. Is this slightly better enough to make that combo real? Also, it doesn't kill your minions. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. This card is going to be problematic post-rotation. Really? All right, Raw Den, 6 mana, 5/5, Death Rattle. Summon each other minion you've played this game that didn't start in your deck. Can you imagine if this was Battle Cry? Whoo! Man, if this was Battle Cry. Why is Raw Den Priest but Fist of Raw Den Shaman? Yep. This is another card that, like, if I don't pull the signature, I hope it's trash because the signature looks so good. But yeah, I don't really see it in Wild. I guess you could, like, you know, finish off your boars this way. Amanthul was the one who created Raden. Ah, well, very good. Amanthul, 7 mana, 3/10 Titan. After this uses an ability, discover a legendary minion. So you get a little bit of value every time you use an ability. So what are its abilities? Shape the Stars. Choose a non-Titan minion. Summon a copy of it with +2/+2. So you could choose an enemy minion and get a +2/+2 copy without helping them out, which is already kind of nice. Choose 2 enemy minions, remove them from the game. So that's like destroying, but no death rattles. And no resummoning. They're just gone. Just poofs them. So, like, that's already just phenomenal, right? Like, think about Sindragosa. Have you ever discovered a Sindragosa in Death Knight? Maybe you don't have any experience with Sindragosa because it's at a rune requirement that's literally unplayable. But you can discover Sindragosa, and playing Sindragosa on curve, just getting the 6/6 body and getting to destroy 2 things, is really effective a lot of the time. And this does that same thing, but it also discovers a legendary minion and doesn't have to worry about attacking into anything. It just gets it. It'll get around taunts and all that. And doesn't have to worry about death rattles and stuff. So this is just nutty for this effect alone. Then summon a random 6-cost minion, give it taunt and lifesteal. So if you're in a pinch, you can do this. This is a really good card. I think it's one of the better Titans. Slots right into Reynold Priest. Do you play this in Big Priest? Wait, do you? You don't really want the discover legendary minions part of this in Big Priest. But like Shadow Essence. Huh. Honestly, I could see it. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I don't know. It could be good in Big Priest. Definitely in Reno Priest though. Shapeless Constellation, 8 mana, 8/8, transform into an 8/8 copy of a random minion in your hand. Makes too much random stuff. I'm not actually sure that matters, to be honest. Not sure that matters. These days in Big Priest, it's not as much about resummoning endlessly. It's about like, you know, getting a hold of the board and just like ruining your opponent, which this does pretty well. You don't have to like treasure the value of your resurrect pool like you used to. This could be like taking over the Ancient One spot. Like Blood of the Ancient One, it could just assume that spot. That card only gets played so that you're not only having Neptulon in your deck anyway. So yeah, what do we want to cheat out with this? Transform it into an 8/8 copy of a random minion in your hand. What costs 10 that is broken as soon as it costs 8? Stone's board. Oh, what effect on a tiny thing becomes broken once it's on an 8/8 body? Discover any legendary minion versus discover a legendary minion. What's the difference? Classes. Another Amanthul. Oh, it's just get yourself more Amanthuls. All right, all right, fair enough. That's probably a consideration standard, I guess. All right, so what did Priest get? Priest got some mild Reno Priest buffs and potential Big Priest buff. And that's it. All right, on to Rogue. So Gear Shift. Gear Shift. 1 mana, shuffle the 2 leftmost cards in your hand into your deck, draw 3 cards. So this card is nuts. It is not Secret Passage 2. It is not 1 mana, draw 3 cards, but it is very good. So this is mulligan 2 cards from your hands and then draw 1 card, which is like meh. But if your hand is empty, it becomes draw 3 cards. It's not it's much worse than Secret Passage in that way, because your hand has to be like completely empty before it draws you a bunch of stuff. But the real thing that makes this kind of cracked, I think, is drawing it within Secret Passage. Because once you you play whatever you want to play from your Secret Passage, and then you play this, shuffling the 2 cards that you weren't going to play that turn or couldn't play that turn, and then you get to draw 3 cards that you would keep. So it's actually just kind of a buff to Secret Passage. It is not itself Secret Passage. But it's an incredibly good card. You know, Secret Passage goes in literally every rogue deck, which means this has a place in literally every rogue deck. And in decks like Pirate Rogue, where the curve is low enough, I think that this is good as a draw card in its own right. But yeah, it's obviously Miracle Rogue. It's probably the nuttiest. How much lower can the moniker go in Pirate Rogue? I mean, it's already pretty low, isn't it? But you can cut more of the 3s. All right. Tar Slick. 1 mana. Minions take double damage this turn. Deal 1 damage. So, it's 1 mana. Deal 2 damage to a minion. And the minions take double damage this turn. So you play this with Fan of Knives on 3, and it clears a bunch of stuff. You play it with Reckless Flurry, and who cares? You're already clearing everything. It's like 1 mana, your board clears everything instead of just being a little bit conditional. I think this is probably one of the more underrated rogue cards. This is probably better, at least in standard, than it's getting credit for. Yeah, and it makes like what is it? Serrated bone spike. You know, like that kills things better. I don't know. I don't know that it's a standard card, but oh, and it makes your minions trade better too. I don't know. I think this has a lot more potential than people give it credit for. Oh, and Putricide. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is undervalued. I don't know that it's like amazing, but like people are talking about how bad this is. This is a really strong card, and it's just hard to see because of the class that got it. From the Scrap Heap, 2 mana, get 3/1/1 magnetic spark bots with random bonus effects. So Sparkbot number 1, it's got Divine Shield, Taunts, Rush, Wind Fury, Lifesteal, Reborn, Poisonous, Stealth. So yeah, it's the same, like, you know, like we can expect these keywords to show up whenever random bonus effects shows up. This card expensive? I think so. Yeah. And the other thing is, like, in Wild, Rogue just doesn't have the big payoffs that Paladin and Mage do. So like if you get where is it? This one. If you get Poisonous in Mage, it's over. You put that on your Shark and you just Flurgle till the end of time. Your opponent can never stick a minion again. But like, what are you gonna do with any of these in Rogue? Like, the magnetic thing just isn't there in Wild, at least. Unless they Flurgle you back, that's true. So then 2 mana 3/2 Battle Cry, discover a spell from another class that costs 3 or less. I will play this in Reno, Bizarre Burglary Rogue, and it will be as bad as that deck is. Pit Stop. 2 mana, discover a mech from your deck, give it +2/+1. Is there is there a mech worth tutoring? Memorand? Oh, and the Titan. Huh. How about in Wild? Octobot? All right. If this does anything, it's probably going to be tutoring Octobot, but Octobot on 3 is just not as good as Octobot on 2. Pogo? Oh, all right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is a Pogo stop. Perfect. Coppertail Snoop. 3 mana 4/3 Mech Beast Magnetic. Whenever this attack gets a coin, so fair. This is like attempted rogue identity from ancient times, right? You know, trying to give them standalone mechs and get coins when attacking. It's such ancient. It's an ancient rogue theme, you know, that has never taken off. So almost feels like Rogue's not getting much this expansion, but we'll see. So 3 mana 2/5 mech. After you play a mech, get a random one of Mimran's gadgets. Mimran's gadgets are, oh, they're all good, right? The next card you play this turn costs 2 less. Give a friendly minion +3 attack. You gain stealth. Choose 2 minions. They swap stats. Give a minion Taunt and Divine Shield. Return a minion to its owner's hands and deal 3 damage, all for like under cost for what they do. The problem is like what mechs, like this is like one good mech payoff for Rogue and like it gets nothing else. So I guess it gets Voltron Prime, but like it's standard card. I think I could see it being decent in standard, but like I don't think it's going to take any. I don't think it's going to do anything in Wild. Spider, it's Itsy Bitsy Spider magnetized onto the water spout. I feel like Spee-Eider is a maybe a Megamind reference. Either that or it's not. The way that it looks is a Johnny Quest reference. So 3 mana 3/4 magnetic stealth for a turn. Expensive. Yep. That's my opinion. Lab Constructor, 4 mana 3/2 mech forge. At the end of your turn, summon a copy of this, gain magnetic. All right, so at first glance, by the way, I feel like mech in Rogue doesn't fit as a theme. But I remember back in my day when I was playing rogues in World of Warcraft, when you do the level 19 PvP, you always make your rogue an engineer so it can do the goggles and stuff like that. So rogues are engineers because of level 19 battles in World of Warcraft. It's my big opinion. So at the end of your turn, summon a copy of this, gain magnetic. All right, so you have to forge it for it to be good. And then you play it on 4 to not copy a mech that's out because you spent 2 mana forging it. Voltron Prime. So Voltron is not a Titan, so they leaded up the Titan word here. It's trying to be a Titan, okay? Long after the Titan's departure, Mimiron dreamed of creating something with an approximation of their power. He may have actually succeeded. So this is his attempt at making a Titan. It's a robotic Titan. This minion's abilities repeat on another random friendly minion. So we have a gain +2/+1, deal 4 damage to a random enemy that can go face. So this would gain +2/+1, and then a random friendly would gain +2/+1, and then you would deal 4 damage randomly to the enemy twice. Full power, gain +2/+1, draw a card. So again, this would gain the stats, and then you draw 2 cards if you have another friendly thing out. And then maximum defenses. So gain +3 health and can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So that'll make it really hard for this to get removed, as well as whatever minion is next to it if you have one. And if you don't have one, that's the good one to use first if you expect your opponent to have trouble removing it with a little extra health and untargetable. To stick around so you can play a minion to get the double effect out of this on the following turn. So yeah, I think this is good. It's just it requires you to have other stuff, which mean it's the only Titan that isn't really good standalone. So yeah, I think it's still a good card though. You like that it doesn't require mechs? Yeah, it's nice that it didn't require mechs. That would have been cringe. Rogue didn't get anything that super impresses me other than Gear Shift. I think Gear Shift, Secret Passage, is likely just to be something a lot of Rogue decks do together moving forward. On to Shaman. So Shaman gets Lightning Reflexes. Discover a nature spell. If you play it this turn, discover another one. It is a nature spell. Endless value, probably better in standard than it is in wild. I could see this being really good in standard, but it's not in wild. Disciple of Gargabarga. So 2 mana, 2/3. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of a random Overlord card in your hand by 1. Could see that being good in standard, unnecessary in wild, as we'll see in a minute. Oh, we'll see it right now. Flash. So 2 mana, Flash of Lightning, nature spell, draw a card. Next turn, your nature spells cost 1 less. So you play this on 2, draw a card, and then next turn you play Frog, and all of your nature spells that cost 1 previously now cost 0. So you play your 0 cost nature spell, your 1 cost nature spell, that costs 0, which will now draw you a 1 cost spell, and if it's nature, will cost 0. So it's just it makes the Frog turns so much easier. And it curves into Frog, which is ridiculous. So I expect this card to be very good. I expect Frog to be annoying. That's my story about Flash of Lightning. Thorim Stormlord, 3 mana, 3/4, Battlecry, unlock your overloaded mana crystals, draw that many cards. Is this frog number 3? It might be. I actually think that this is only going to be good in a questline version of that deck, which might be the way that you want to play this. It's almost frog number 3. It might not be. I think it has a lot of potential, but it could also just be kind of a win more card. Turn the Tides. 3 mana, give your hero +3 attack this turn. Summon a 3/3 elemental with Rush. Overload 1, nature spell. So get a 3/3, give your hero +3 attack. Goes with Horn of the Windlord and Doomhammer. Is there going to be a Doomhammer Shaman deck? I don't know. I think like the Murloc package in Shudderwock Shaman would love to have a faster way to end the game than Shudderwock. So it could be that we could do like a Murloc Wombo turn plus Doomhammer instead of Murloc Wombo turn plus slow win condition. Now that we have this and we have the minion, what's that minion called? Inari, something like that. There's like a 3-cost version of this that like deals 3 to a minion instead of summoning a 3/3. A Rockbiter weapon, obviously. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Champion of Storms, 4 mana, 3/5 elemental. After you cast a nature spell, summon a 4/2 elemental, forge with Rush. So you get 4/2 elementals when you cast nature spells with this, and if you forged it, they have Rush. How good is this? Is this worse or better than Thunderhead? Not sure. I imagine it's not very good. In Wild, it's not good at all, right? We just backdraft kill them, or summon a bunch of giants. I don't think we do this. Tempest Hammer, 4 mana, 1/3. After your hero attacks, deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. Well, I mean, if you get to like ping off a tour guide or something and then kill something with 3 health, you know, like ping off patches and then deal 3 damage to the ship's cannon. Hey Swagger. But no, this is bad, right? In Wild, I could see that being really annoying in Standard, but I don't think it's a wild card. Crash of Thunder, deal 3 damage to all enemies, 5 mana spell. Cost 1 less for each nature spell you've cast this turn. For each nature spell you've cast this turn. In Frog Shaman, this probably costs nothing pretty easily, but it also like isn't as good as any of the other things that will probably cost nothing very easily. So if it makes it into the deck, I won't be very surprised, but I also don't really think it's going to. It kills the frog? No, to all enemies. It only kills enemies. If it didn't go face, it was never getting added. Golganeth the Thunderer. So 6 mana, 5/7 Titan. Your first spell each turn costs 3 less. All right. So deal 3 damage to all enemies and restore 6 health to all friendly characters. Deal 20 damage to a single minion. And draw 3 overload cards. So you put Jam Session and Crackle in your even shaman, and then you get a bunch of burst if you choose this one. You get to like actually come back on board sometimes with this one, and you just don't choose this one. I don't know. Like I think this is an even shaman card. It's not that hard. This is broken better Brukan. Is this better Brukan? This effect is nice. It's like cheaper. You probably run this in Shudderwock Shaman just for this. But I don't know that this is broken better Brukan. It's kind of like different Brukan. So yeah, this is good in Shudderwock Shaman too. What can we run overload wise in Shudder without hating it? It would be like Ancestral. Oh, and Lightning Storm. What if we still run just Lightning Storm, though? And just, like, intend to choose this effect. Like, 6 mana, 5/7, deal 3 damage to all enemies, restore 6 health to all characters. Just seems like something you would run in a deck like that. Ignoring these two. And then, like, it's not like this does nothing because you already have Lightning Storms. You can add the draw if you really want. And you can clear a big minion if that's good. Oh, and it gives you a way to kill opposing Boom Pistol bullies if your opponent bullies you first. Because, like, the Shutter Mirrors are like whoever gets their bully down first and, like, keeps the chain going. So you can, like, end their chain. They can't, like, grumble it back or cold storage. The other thing is you can run Wind Fury and Even Shaman now. You do this and you play the Wind Fury on it, and then you can use 2 of these abilities right away. So you could, like, clear the enemy board and then also, like, draw some cards or something. And then it'll get to hit twice next turn. And since we're running Jam Session and we have a way to kind of, like, draw them, Wind Fury has a little bit more value. I don't know. There's a lot to do with this. It's going to be fun to figure out, like, what the right package is for each deck, but I think it can go on pretty much anything. Thorbagar Drake. So 7 mana, 6/6 rush. Whenever this attacks, summon 2 3/1 whelps to attack the target first, and it's a dragon. This seems like an excellent standard card. All right, so that was Shaman. Shaman's getting what I would consider the most worrisome card in the set, which is Flash of Lightning. It's got, like, a really good Titan that goes in pretty much every Shaman deck that you can think of, and that's about it. I don't think it got 2, like, really good things and then some other, like, maybe interesting things. Like, I think these 2 cards are interesting. Thor might be better than I think it is. Like, I think it's playable. I just don't know that it's, like, good enough to actually get played in the most efficient version of Frog Shaman. But then, yeah, like, Golganeth is an easy even Shaman card, and it's almost certainly a Shudderwalk Shaman card as well. On to Warlock. Chaotic Consumption. 1 mana, destroy a friendly minion to destroy an enemy minion. So you get to choose both effects here, which I think is really, really good. So I actually like to run Runic Eggs in slower Warlock things for Dark Pact and Plague of Flames and Defile. And this is another, like, thing on top of that values having something that you actually want to destroy. So, like, I'll probably put it in Arena Lock because I'm already putting, like, Runic Eggs and stuff in there. But even Questline Warlock could consider this just to destroy, like, whatever Armor Vendor, Crystallizer, whatever, to destroy bigger threats. 1 mana targeted destroy is pretty good, and that way your opponent can't, like, play around your Plague of Flames by having a significant threat and then a bunch of tinier ones. So yeah, this is just good. Like, Mistress of Mixtures plus Runic Egg plus this, good. Monstrous Form. 1 mana for give a friendly minion +3/+3 until your end of turn. And it's a shadow spell. So what's nice about this is Tamsin. So you play Tamsin, Power Overwhelming, and this, and then your damage cap just, like, raised by a whole bunch. And then you can have, like, the reverberations too, or whatever that card, reverb something. So yeah, this is good, but it's also good in, like, egg decks, right? So you could have, like, a Chaotic Consumption, Monstrous Form, Power Overwhelming egg deck with Tamsin in it to, like, add a little OTK with it, but also your Monstrous Form and your Power Overwhelmings aren't just dead cards because you can just play them on an egg. By the way, Martian, Totem Golem gets drawn by the Titan and Even Shaman. Yeah, I thought about that, but it's like Totem Golem is so bad, and you probably don't want to choose that the draw 3 effect unless you're trying to kill the opponent. So, like, you're not going to add Totem Golem back in for the draw, probably. is my guess. Um, but that is true. If you're running Totem Golem, you can draw that off of the Titan in Shaman. So, anyways, yeah, I think like egg Tamps and OTK Shaman could be cute. Thornveil Tentacle. So 2 mana, 2/2 lifesteal. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion. I think this card is super mid. I think if this dealt the 2 damage to any minion, like it wasn't random, that it would be a decent card. I don't even think it would be that great. It would just be decent. But yeah, it's nice. Nice and bad. Forge of Wills, 3 mana, choose a friendly minion, summon a giant with its stats and rush. Is this card good? Hard to say, but like if you're running Giants quest lock, I feel like you could consider it, right? Because there's a lower stats, much easier to get out giant in this. It's like a corridor creeper if corridor creeper required damage instead of minion deaths. It's gonna come down on turn 3 like every time, so like that's when you would play this. So this could get you 3 mana for 2 5/5s. This could get you 3 mana for a 5/5 and an 8/8, and both times it has rush. This just could be a really good card in Questline Giants Warlock. Yeah, I don't know. This seems fantastic. So Mortal Eradication. So 3 mana, deal 5 damage, randomly split among all enemy minions. Restore 2 health to your hero for each killed. It's a shadow spell. So this is a little awkward. And it's gonna, I think whether or not this is good is gonna depend if it heals all at once or if it heals each time. Does anyone know? So like if this heals if this kills 3 things and heals you 3 separate times, that's 3 discounts on Flesh Giant. If this kills 3 things and then heals you for 6, it's not good for Flesh Giant, right? And I think how good this is for Flesh Giant is going to really dictate whether or not you can play this in a deck like Questline Warlock. But I could see it in like just I mean, it might be all right in like regular Reno lock to play on curve and clean up some pirates, but Dark Skies is still probably better because it kills more things. Disciple of Sargeras. 4 mana, 3/3. Battlecry. Discover a spell to summon 2 3/2 imps. Forge. Give them +2 health and taunt. Oh, you discard a spell. Discard a spell. I was like, wait, this you discover a spell when you do this? No way. No, but it's discard a spell. So Battlecry, you discard a spell, but it's a 3/3 and 2 3/2s, which is all right. But if you forged it, like if you had 2 like mana that was just going to go down the drain anyway, and you forge it, they're 3/4s as well. So for this, the discard has to matter. And you could run a deck that has like just Solarium, Hand of Gul'dan, and Soul Barrage as the only spells in a discard Warlock, and then this would be decent. However, I think we have like a much better discard combo with Hand of Gul'dan coming up here in a second. Wing Welding. 4 mana, discard your highest cost card, deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. So we already had we already had some Questline Giants Warlock support. We're about to have a little more. Now we're having the Fatigue Questline support. So you discard your Hand of Gul'dan to like deal damage to all the minions and draw 3 cards. You run Expired Merchant, Hand of Gul'dan is your highest cost card, and this, and suddenly you have like this ridiculous draw engine that clears like crazy. I think that like both versions of Questline Warlock actually have some pretty decent support in this expansion. And whether or not that's a good thing is up to you. No Soul Barrage, though? I mean, if you're running a discard, list, you would run Soul Barrage with this. But if you're running a Questline deck for Fatigue, you're just using it as a draw clear. Loken, Jailer of Yogg-Saron. So 6 mana, 3/3, discover a minion from your deck, summon a tentacle with its stats and taunt. So you can discover Fanatum, have a Fanatum in your hand, and have a 15/15 taunt with your friend Loken, Jailer of Yogg-Saron. This is kind of a side grade of Abyssal Summoner until you remember that you're actually drawing a card too. So it's Abyssal Summoner that draws a card and has some potential upside. So you could play it in like Even Warlock and get an 8/8 with this pretty often, and then you'll also have an extra 8/8 in your hand. How good is this? Probably not that great. I think it does go in Even Warlock, but I don't know that it's gonna be like amazing. Cool though. I like the signature, right? Imprisoned Horror. I think this is Warlock's best card from the set. So 9 mana, 5/5, cost 1 less for each damage you've taken on your turns this game. So you play Crystallizer and Spirit Bomb, and then it costs nothing. You do like Kobold or Kobold Librarian, Spirit Bomb, Raise Dead, and this costs nothing. You're like, this is going to cost nothing real fast. So Questline Warlock just got a huge boost with this. It's going to be dropping Imprisoned Horror on 2 and 3 all the time. So yeah, I think that's a huge boost for that deck. Really nothing else to say about it. All right, finally we have my favorite Titan, coolest card in the whole set, sickest card. It looks amazing. Its whole effect is amazing. It's awesome. I'm gonna play a ton of it. Unless Wild is unplayable, in which case I'll play none of it, or I'll go play it in Standard. But anyways, 9 mana, 6/12 Demon. So Titan, Battlecry, open a portal that summons 2/3/2 imps each turn. You have to play the Battlecry or else it does nothing. The portal is called Twisting Nether, and all of its abilities require the portal in order to work. So if you cheat this out with Skull of the Minari, not only will all of its effects do literally nothing because there's no portal to reference, but also you still have to use all of those abilities before it can attack. So like, I think it was pretty deliberately designed to not go with Void Caller and Skull of Minari type stuff, despite having the demon tag, which I think is a shame. But at the same time, like, the card is designed in such a fun way that I'm just really excited to play it in non-demon decks. So the Twisting Nether is a portal, like the same as every other portal. It's just summons 2/3/2 imps at the end of every turn. So 9 mana, 6/12 Titan, you get that portal. But then its first ability is you can send all other minions into the Twisting Nether. So it's a 9 mana Twisting Nether that comes with 12, 16 stats with repeating stats in the future. Already good. But if you don't need to clear anything, you can make 2 6/6s for pressure, or you can make it so that your future demons summoned from the Twisting Nether have +2 health and taunt. So like if you choose this one, all of it's a Reno Poof, not Destroy. Even better. It sends them all into the Nether. Don't trigger any death rattles. They don't get to resummon anything. They don't get destroyed. But yeah, so you can have it so that your future demons are summoned from the Twisting Nether have +2 health and taunt. So your 3/2 imps are now 3/4 imps with taunt, which I think is game ending against some things. And then if you didn't use Inferno yet and he survives a turn, you can use Inferno next turn. So now they're 6/8s with taunt. But anyways, this card is sick, and I think it's like really good. I don't think that this is going to take Reno Lock from a fringe deck to a powerful meta player, but it's definitely good enough to go in that deck, and I'm absolutely going to play it and have a ton of fun with it. So Look forward to that if you like Martian Reno Lock streams. All right, so that handles all the class cards. Warlock got some of the biggest upgrades in the set, specifically this guy. Imprisoned Horror is the nuts. Forge of Wills is probably the nuts. Wing Welding is probably the nuts. Sargeras is a good card for a deck that is beloved but not amazing. Yeah, Warlock got a good set, which is nice because I feel like it hasn't had one in a while. Oh wait, no, there's another class. Never mind. I forgot about this class, but it got a set this time. Warrior actually got a set, if you can believe it. So Warrior, this is not part of its set. This is just whatever. So 2 mana, 1/3 magnetic. Also damage minions next to him whenever this attacks. Who cares? Mech Warrior is not happening right now. Smelt, 2 mana, give a random minion in your hand +3/+3, lose 3 armor to do it again. It is a fire spell. Hey, Royale with Cheese, thank you so much for the prime, my friend. I appreciate you. How good is Smelt? So there is at least one card in here that benefits from hand buffing, but hand buffing is typically bad, and this is kind of a really situational one. I think it's kind of a standard Thor Balor activator, more so than something that should be played for its own merits. Bellowing Flames, 3 mana fire spell, deal 5 damage to a minion, forge, then deal 5 damage split among all enemy minions. So this is pretty good if you had it forged, right? You could kill the ship's cannon and then it would clean up the pirates afterwards. So if you, this is better than so many of Odd Warrior's options. So if you're like an Odd Warrior Coper, this is something interesting for you. Forge on 2 and then play this on 3 to like actually have them go away on board. As far as regular Warrior decks, I think we have better options. If you're not playing Odd Warrior, then you have Shield Shatter, and Shield Shatter is most of what you need. Steam Guardian, one of the best cards in Warrior's little toolbox here. So 3 mana, 3/3, draw a spell, reduce the cost of a fire spell in your hand by 1 elemental. So Black Rock and Roll is an elemental. Or it's not an elemental, but it's a fire spell. So you play a deck with 29 non-spells, Black Rock and Roll, 2 of these, and then every game on 4, you play Black Rock and Roll, and the rest of your deck is really nutty. So yeah, that's what this does, I think. I've already, it's the only theory craft I built so far. I built a Reno deck with 2 of these and Black Rock and Roll. It's pretty spicy. I don't know how amazing it's going to be, but in Wild, I don't know how amazing it's going to be. I think it's going to be really frustrating in Standard. Yeah, I think it's kind of spicy. Stoneskin Armor, 3 mana, 3/4. If your armor changed this turn, draw 2 cards. So obviously, really cool Odd Warrior draw for the first time in ever. Easiest Odd Warrior stonks of my life. What I actually think this really does, though, is you play Frozen Buckler on 2 with Shield Shatter to clear your opponent's first board, or on 3, whenever you're going to use it early. And then coming back to your turn, Frozen Buckler loses a little bit of armor activating this. So you could just play it on curve if you had to do it on 2 or whatever. And then outside of that situation, you just have to hero power and play this. So good card for Armory Warriors, probably. Craftsman's Hammer, 3 mana, 3/3. After your hero attacks and kills a minion, gain 4 armor. This is interesting, but I don't think it's a deck that would consider this would take Outrider's Axe over it, right? Drawing a card is better than gaining 4 armor. Most of the time. This combos well with Shield Shatter a little bit if you wanted to have this gain some armor for Shield Shatter, right? Because you kill the minion first and then you gain the armor. But I don't think it's worth playing just for that. Outrider's Axe clears this for Wild. I've been oh my goodness. All right. Remember this? Oh man. I went to this scene uh, I went to the other scene to like review the patch notes, and and forgot to switch back. Did you guys remind me and I just missed it? Anyways, luckily, like these don't go to my main channel anymore, so this is like VOD channel exclusive content. So at least there you go. No, you guys were clueless too. All right, that makes me feel better. It's always chat's fault. No, I was just like I was wondering if I like wasn't paying attention. But anyways, because like I kept looking at my screen and being like, my camera kind of covers the card a little bit, but I guess it doesn't matter. Didn't I resolve that? And then it finally clicked. You know, like I switched to one of these. This one. Anyways, moving on. Kazgabarf, the Barfinator, creator of Titan Forged Races. He did some stuff. So 6 mana 4/4 Titan. After this uses an ability, gain immune this turn and attack a random enemy minion. So it will Titan Forge to gain +2/+2 and draw a weapon. So it becomes a 6/6, kills something, gets you a weapon. Or it can gain 5 attack and give your hero 5 attack this turn. It's good. Or it can gain 5 health and give you 5 armor. So like all three of these options are really good. It like kills something, gives you some stuff. Yeah, it's just a solid card. It's not one of the flashier ones, but like it's good. Like you'll play it in like higher curve warrior decks. Excuse me. So then we have Minotaurin, 6 mana 5/5 rush. When this deals damage, gain that much armor. So you play this in your Black Rock and Roll deck. You Black Rock and Roll on 4 every time, and then if in the next 2 draws you draw a Minotaurin, you kill something and then gain 10 armor, and it's crazy. So yeah, this is kind of a nuts card in the Black Rock and Roll deck. Oh yeah, it is 11 armor, huh? It's the cost is added. It's not Lorthamar. Yeah, this is gonna be standard Alicious, right? But I think even in like the wild version, you'd play this is pretty good. Is I Black Rock on 4 the new I Jackpot on 2? But like it happens every game. You have the 3 copies of it. What do you mean? Moving on, Trial by Fire. So Trial by Fire is a fire spell. Summon 5 1/1 Valkyr with rush, and when one dies, it gives the others +1/+1. Here's the champion. This is like wonky earthen scales. So like the first one trades for 1, the second one trades for 2, third one trades for 3. So you can like you can clear boards in the same way that not earthen scales, scales of Onyxia, scale of Onyxia. Used to clear things in standard. I think this is actually a better clear than most things that Odd Warrior has access to. So I think that like for Odd Warrior, this is an include for sure. But you know, that's Odd Warrior, and Odd Warrior is canceled, as we're going to find out with our next card. Odd Warrior is over, chat. All right, it's over. We don't care about Odd Warrior anymore. I don't want to play with you anymore. You know, like Andy tossing out the Woody. We're done. We don't care about it. We can do so much funnier stuff now than Odd Warrior. All right. This guy, look at him. Look how beautiful he is. Look how funny he is. Okay, he's the funniest Odin of all time. So Odin is 8 mana 8/8 battle cry for the rest of the game. After your hero gains armor, gain that much attack. All right, it's so cool. So you on 8, you play an 8 mana 8/8, and then your opponent kills you and you lose. But we've built our deck with every single armor card we could think of. So we actually have a bit of a buffer to maybe survive putting out our Odin. And then we have 1,000 options. So there's the Skipper Armorsmith Quillbore thing, which we probably already used to survive to this point. There's also Dry Whisker Armor. So we could do Bran Raptor's Armor to get a bunch of armor that way. We can do Frozen Buckler. Any Frozen Bucklers we have anymore are 2 mana, 10 damage. Bring It On, 2 mana, 10 damage. If we play 2 Bucklers and Bring It On, it's 30 all on its own. Rokara is 15 damage because you play Rokara, and you guys keep saying Boom Scheme, all right? Okay, Boom Scheme. It exists. You can wait. You can wait 4,000 years. You can wait until civilizations have risen and fallen 5 times over, and then your Boom Scheme will be at 30, and you can kill the opponent with it if they don't have a taunt up. All right, fair enough. Boom Scheme is the ultimate card that isn't one of the other cards. The chat kept mentioning it. But anyways, like there are a lot of actually reasonable things you can do that support your game plan to survive until you play Odin, and then give you lethality afterwards. Like even Shield Block is 2 mana, draw a card, 5 damage. It's nutty. So yeah, once this comes down, it's just like a matter of time until you kill the opponent. The words, I don't know what I was gonna say, something, but yeah, it's so easy to deal with a bunch of damage. Yeah, so this is cool. This is probably like my favorite card of the set so far. I'm like really excited to build this. I might make a dedicated warrior video with theory crafts for this card because like there's several I'm excited about. All right, so that was warrior. Warrior actually has like a couple cool things. It feels like the first time it's actually gotten a set in a while. It has some like actual pretty decent control tools that we won't play because we have better funny stuff to do, but like Odin as like a control warrior payoff is a huge upgrade over the shambles of whatever we had to deal with before. Khazgroth is a good card. Minotaurin plus Steam Garden are going to make Black Rock and Roll at least a meme deck. That's not that bad. So yeah, Warrior's got some real stuff to play with this time, which I think is pretty exciting. All right, on to the neutrals. We have Ancient Totem, 0 mana, 0/3 totem. Insta add to Even Shaman. So Even Shaman, you play this and then it discounts your Thing from Belows and your Gigantotems by 1 each. Already pretty decent, but then you're running the totem that gives things attack. You're running the 0 mana spell that gives you totems attack, and Flame Tongue Totem, and Stone Right, and Jam Session. And this is just like really, 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 really good in Even Shaman. So Even Shaman got some pretty significant upgrades this expansion, I think. Drone Disprognator. So 1 mana, 1/2 mech. Get a 1/1 magnetic spark bot with a random bonus effect, and depending on what type of mech deck you are and which spark bot you roll, you win the game instantly. So I think this probably goes in both of the mech decks, just to bring the spark bots to the possibilities. Victorious Rykul. 1 mana, 1/2. After this attacks, get a 2/3 Valkyr that costs 1. Seems like a token druid card to me. Maybe an odd Demon Hunter card, but like, you know, those aren't decks right now. So it's going to take more than this. Celestial Project. Like, I think like this card gets played in Standard for sure, right? Like every time this gets played in Standard, I'm sure. Celestial Potato. So 2 mana, 3/2. Battlecry, choose a friendly minion. Add a temporary copy of it to your hand. What does it mean to be temporary? Do you have to play it this turn? Is that good with is that good in Questline Warlock? Oh no. Oh, you discount your 5/5 Giga easily. Yeah, you just play you play it in Questline Warlock alongside the new 5/5 and alongside Happy Ghouls, and then you like it's 2 mana, 3/2 plus a 3/3 or a 5/5. That's pretty good, right? Isn't it? Even lock? If your Netheron sticks, you can play this and get another Netheron. Maybe. Even Shaman. Thing from below, this thing from below? Maybe. Not enough deck slots in even Warlock? Definitely enough deck slots in even Warlock. Even Warlock runs a ton of cards that doesn't care to. I think I underrated this card on my first pass by it. I think this could probably go and stuff. Don't put bad cards in your deck to make your great cards even better, please. I mean, like, it might be that case. But if you have multiple targets for this, I think it would be good. If you have a single, like, the reason that Recombobulator is bad in even Warlock is because it has one target. If you have multiple targets for it, yeah, I think it's good. Like Questline Warlock has tons of targets, right? It's got 4 early targets, 4 targets that will be online early enough to consider this. And then it has Molten Giant and Flesh Giant to go with as well. It's just a good card, probably. Either that or it isn't. I don't know. It's definitely worth considering. I don't think it's worth writing off, is all I'm saying. It's definitely worth consideration. So Flame Revenant, 2 mana, 2/3 elemental. After you summon an elemental, give it +1/+1. So it's like, oh, it is a better version of the mech one, huh? The mech one is 2 mana, 1/3 for the same effect. Huh. Does anything summon enough elementals? Mage has access to 2 discounty elementals now. And the draw card. Shaman has the Galvanizer. And a 4 mana Galvanizer. Meh. It's probably not great. Inventomatic, 3 mana, 2/3. Whenever you magnetize a minion, give it +1/+1. Meh. Shaman makes elemental tokens? Which one? Oh, gives the minion +1/+1. Is that better? Oh, Voltaic Burst. That's like only good with this, right? Huh. All right. Well, spicy. I'm gonna play with this. It'll be fun. This is bad, right? Whenever you magnetize a minion, give it +1/+1. Watcher of the Sun, 2 mana, 2/3. Get a random holy spell. Insane 2016 card. Forge, also restore 6 health to your hero. Yeah, I think this is good in ancient times, but maybe not. Like, this is probably actually only a couple years too late, isn't it? I feel like all the classes that want healing have better options now. Oh, I see. So you play it with the spell school cards. Man, if this was Discover, like Discover any holy spell or something like that, this would be popping. But I think it's pooping. Know what I mean? In Wild, at least. Like in Standard, I'm sure it's fine. All right, Careless Mechanist, 3 mana, 4/5. After you draw your second card in a turn, destroy this. So if you are playing Curvestone, how good is 3 mana, 4/5 unconditional? Really not that great anymore, right? Cyclopean Crusher, 3 mana, 3/3 rush. Forge game. So bad. Face Splitter, 3 mana, 3/3 death rattle. Get a copy of the card that killed this. All right, what do we want to do? What are we doing, chat? What do we want 1,000 million trillion gabillion sextillion copies of? What do we want infinite copies of? Snowfall Graveyard and Terron. All right, so like you can go even more infinite in Mine Rogue. All right. I guess Terran Gorfiend is like the thing with this, isn't it? Infinite copies, more like infinite copium, probably. Mecha Leaper, 3 mana 2/2, Mech Beast, Magnetic, Death Rattle, give a friendly mech +2/+2, and this Death Rattle. Do you say? Plague of Flames value cope? Oh my goodness. All right, that's it. It's good with like the Warlock kill cards. It's pretty spicy. You play this with Dark Pact and oh wait. It would work with Power Overwhelming, wouldn't it? If you proc Leper's Death Rattle, and it's the only mech on board, it copies its Death Rattle onto itself. Oh, like if you trigger it. And so if you proc it 4 times with Necrium Blade and Snowfall, it gains +18/+18. Well then. Very good. Melted Maker, 3 mana, 3/3 elemental. After you forge a card, get a copy of it. None of the forge cards were any good, right? It's like exactly the neutral one that had like that felt like it was really good. So yeah, I don't know about this. Ravenous Kraken, 3 mana 2/5 beast. Battle Cry, have a good signature art. So destroy a friendly minion, Death Rattle, summon a copy of it. It's like worse Terran Gorefiend, but worse cube. So all right, so is Marshy's Tamsin Egg Warlock gonna be the nuts with Ravenous Kraken? Maybe. I don't know. Like Terran Gorefiend didn't really take off that much, and if it didn't, why would this? That's my big opinion. All right, Razor Scale, 3 mana 2/4 dragon. The fact that it's a dragon is pretty cool. Cards can't cost less than 2. So what's cool about this is you play it on probably like 4, and then your opponent's Tony Druid can't go off. So you could have played Ashen Elemental and also tackled Ice Block, but instead you chose to play this. Well, this doesn't go. This isn't for only 1 turn though. I think that's a pretty significant point of interest, and it activates dragon synergies. So you could run it in Chumbo Druid and activate your Kazakusan without also giving you a chance against Tony Druid. And it's like kind of useful. They never have Naturalize. If they give up a Naturalize to hit this, you know, like that matters. That makes it harder to kill. This should have been a battle cry for the rest of the game. Oh, well, I don't agree with that. It would suck a lot of the fun out of the game if you ask me. Relentless Warg, 3 mana 2/4 beast, rush. After this attacks and kills a minion, restore it to full health. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? Can you imagine 2015? How good would this be? It'd be nuts. Sharp-Eyed Seeker, 3 mana 3/3 battle cry. If there is a card in your deck that didn't start there, draw it, and it's a beast. So things I've heard when this card comes up are Fizzle. Do you want your Fizzle thing right now? Probably not. What else? So like there's like this is mini stowaway, right? So like you could play your Felderai Strider and draw just one of them. Yeah, the quest priests, you audio engineer or audio bot, whatever that thing is. And then you play your what you call it, and then you get to draw it and play it in the same turn on 11. Yeah, Olgra is the one like that I thought was gonna be good. Like when you play Mankrik and then play this, that's good. That's a nutty combo. Symphony, but I think if you're gonna play Symphony, you're better off playing like Backfire and just like getting them the way you would draw normally. Like you need something that you like. It's important to draw it and how for it to like. You don't want this to be 3 mana 3/3 draw a card. You want it to be 3 mana 3/3 draw a specific card. So like, yeah, that's the thing. Like 2-card order specific combo, right? Jor, I was getting to that is like you would need more than Mankrik. You need more stuff like Mankrik to justify this. I think this would be a pretty good card if Ticketmaster was Battlecry instead of Death Rattle, but it's Death Rattle. Mankrik plus and Fizzle, so you have options. I think you need more than that. Like, is a deck with Mankrik gonna want Fizzle? Like, why do you want the snapshot now? You don't want the snapshot now, do you? By the time you get the snapshot, you usually want your deck to be kind of empty anyway, or like the game to be mostly over anyway. So like, I feel like people massively overrate how good Fizzle is. They do, and like they massively overrate how much you want the Fizzle thing. So like, if we're gonna meme, right, we're gonna do at least Trailblazer. Come on, Garbage Prime. It does get all the primes. Yeah. You want the snapshot now so you can't get Steam Cleanered? All right, it's an ETC card. Ignite, yeah. Ignite for a spicy Ignite deck. Yeah, so I like if we can get enough Mankrik type incentives for this, then I think this becomes an interesting card, but it just needs more. Starlight Whelp, 3 mana 4/3, Battlecry, get a random card from your starting hand, Dragon. This is kind of good. I don't know if it's kind of good, but it's kind of cute. Imagine if it was Discover. How cool would this be if it was Discover? Discover a card from your opening hand. Oh, perfect. Does this replace Amber Whelp in Marshy Druid? Probably. Maybe not. Trog Exile, 3 mana 4/4 rush, deal 4 damage to your hero, Battlecry. Another amazing 2016 card. Algalon the Observer, 4 mana 4/4, replace your hero power with Algalon's Vision. Algalon's Vision is 1 mana, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, you may put that card on the bottom of their deck. So people have compared this to Jace the Mind Sculptor in Magic the Gathering. The idea is you get to control your opponent's discards. Or your opponent's top decks for the next, foreseeable future. The problem is, unlike Magic the Gathering, your deck is not filled with a bunch of blanks. In Magic the Gathering, you have to run the land cards, and so you can make it so that your opponent has to draw lands for a little while. This is like, what deck even wants this? And people have said to me like Shaman wants this because the hero power is so bad, so you can play it in Shudder. But like in Shudder, I don't want to play a 4 mana 4/4. I don't want to spend 1 mana doing nothing. I don't want, and I already have Brukan, right? So like, if we're running like a hero power that we have to draw, we already have a really good one. So like, Algalon does not have a place in Shudderwalk Shaman. It's too expensive for an aggro deck. So like, where this effect is useful is if you're gonna have like an extra mana here and there, and you need your opponent to not draw a specific card, much like Reno Jackson. So like, would aggro want this? No, because they don't want to spend 4 mana making a 4/4, and then they don't want to spend, like by the time you get into the end there where you're trying to make them dodge Reno, they've already lost at that point. If they have the mana to like, if they've spent 4 mana making this 4/4, and then they have a mana to spend every turn subsequently to like mess with the opponent's top decks, like that's not going to work. So like the hypothetical deck that I think that this might be decent in is like a mid-range curve stone deck, where like you are just trying to curve out throughout the game, and being able to dodge Psychic Scream or Reno Jackson actually makes a huge difference. But what deck is that? Like that, like Spiteful Druid hasn't existed in a long time. Like those type of decks just like aren't good in Wild, and they're usually not very good in Standard. So I don't think this has a place in anything. Plague DK might want it. I could see that, I guess, if you want your opponent to draw something specifically. Positive, you can run this in even Demon Hunter, and you don't lose any mana cheating from again. Well, there you go. Finally, another bad hero power to Grizzled Wizard. There you go. All right, Angry Hellhound. 4 mana 2/5 beast, rush, +4 attack on your turn. So this is like a power crept version of the warrior one, right? The warrior one is Battle Cry gain +3, isn't it? It's worse than this, isn't it? Just by the stats, but that one's Battle Cry, whereas this one, like, it gets the attack back if it comes back to your turn. Anyways, either way, this card is just way better than that. Is that good enough for today's Hearthstone? So 4 mana 6/5 rush, not awful, not very good either, to be honest. But like, you get to attack with it coming back to your turn. I want it to be good because the signature art looks really, really good. The signature art on this looks actually phenomenal. So like, I want it to be good, but it's probably just like it's outdated concept. Ignis, the Eternal Potato. So 4 mana 2/4 Battle Cry. If you forged a card this game, I keep forgetting about that. Like, oh no, we have to forge a card. Maybe this is unplayable. Wait, is this unplayable? All the forge cards are bad. You had high hopes, then they released the forge cards. Yeah. All right, so 4 mana 2/4. If you forged a card this game, craft a custom weapon for your opponent when they play Sticky Finger. So you get to choose either a 1 mana 2/2 weapon, a 5 mana 3/4 weapon, or a 10 mana 5/6 weapon. Then you get like the random effects, so Poisonous, Lifesteal, Wind of Fury. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all enemies, so that'll go to the face 2. Also adjacent minions. After your hero attacks, gain 2 armor. After your hero attacks, gain 8 armor. After your hero attacks, gain... okay, so these are just the levels of it. So, okay, these are the funny keywords. Poisonous, Lifesteal, Wind Fury. There are other keywords, aren't there? They're just like spread around all funny. I wish this was like set up in a way that it showed me. It's like Kazakis, right? So like you choose the cost of it, then you choose a one effect, which is a bunch of random keywords, and then you choose a special upgrade or something. I forget what the third one's called. But anyway, so like things you can do with this are like, I mean, the big one is like it has Battle Cry, right? There's like, oh, it's like Cleave, right? So you have Cleave with Poisonous. You have Poisonous with Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all enemies. So you can like build your own. You can build your own Flurgle Toxfin with this. But it also has like battle. Whenever your hero attacks, draw a card, and it has whenever your hero attacks, draws 3 cards, which is really funny because you put that on this one. And I don't know that you want to draw 3 cards when you attack 6 times if you have the mana to play a 10 mana weapon. So it's just funny how brutal it gets up there. But anyways, yeah, it does a lot of different things. After your hero attacks summon a random 8 cost minion. See, that's pretty good to do 6 times. it's just like a fun like little value card slash control card. We poison the face. Oh yeah, for sure. Um, the problem is I keep forgetting, you know, how bad the forge cards is. They all seem awful. Oh, wiki just for me. Does this order it nice? Oh, it does. Look at that. It does order it nice. Guess we'll have to return to my other scene. Will Marshy remember to switch back this time? Nobody knows. I certainly don't. All right, so your first round is your first round is being scared by ads. So yeah, you pick either the 1 mana for 2/2, the 5 mana for 3/4, or the 10 mana for 5/6. And then you can choose Poisonous, Lifesteal, Wind Fury, Cleave, or Immune while attacking. Cleave is what I'm colloquially calling damage adjacent minions. And then the third one is either Death Rattle, deal 2 damage, deal various damage to all enemies depending on the cost of the weapon. Gain armor per attack to different degrees depending on the cost of the weapon. Summon a minion of various costs depending on the cost of the weapon. Dealing battle cry, deal damage. So, man, this seems like the weakest one, right? Man, this, like all stages of this seem pretty bad. Like 10 mana, deal 6 damage. I guess it's like a lot of burst, right? Combined with the swing of the weapon. Then after your hero attacks, draw a card. How many cards depend on the you know, how big the weapon is. Look at me remembering stuff. But anyways, so yeah, this card is really good. The problem is Forge is really expensive, and it's gonna be hard to like find a deck that wants to play one of those Forge cards and also like Forge it, right? It's such a late game card now, considering because like the Priest Forge card is good, but like you're only running 1 copy, right? It seems ultra slow. It does, yeah. It's gonna be fun, but I think it's pretty slow. Imposing Anubiseth, 4 mana 7/7 taunt, can't attack. So this card can't attack seems kind of like a pretty steep condition. So I feel like they could have printed this just as a 4 mana 7/7 taunt, but like if that just seems like overly costed and stupid, right? So maybe like it would make sense to give it overload too. But if we're gonna do that, we have to put it in shaman. So we can't like we can't just keep it in neutral. So we'll make it a shaman card at that point. And then maybe the taunt is still too good, so we could just remove that. And you know, then it's the perfect card. So that's what I think of this. Mechanome Guide, 4 mana 3/4 battle cry, discover a spell, forge, it costs 3 less. Mech. Laughs in Vizier. This is so bad. Why is this card so bad? Chat, why did you guys make this card so bad? Maybe this is a card that like you play it to activate Pickled Gumbo, the other thing. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. So 4 mana 4/4 battle cry, discover a weapon from any class. What would ever want this? Shutterwalk? No. Serenite Tolvir, 4 mana, 3/5 taunt. Whenever this is attacked, draw a card. I mean, at 1 less mana, this would be good, right? Make it a 3 mana, 2/5 or something. Finally, Quest Warlock, Cursed Blade. That's funny. Time Lost Protodrake. So this is a reference to the mount that's really hard to find in Wrath of the Lich King. I would like one, but it's too hard to find. The grind is too crazy. Lion, thank you so much for the 20 months, my friend. How are you? Ban Lamp, can't do it. Maybe next time. So Time Lost Protodrake, 4 mana, 4/5 dragon, taunt. When you draw this, add a random dragon to your hand. So what's cool about this is now in Chumbo Druid, you can run more dragons without actually having to pay mana. And you can play it in Even Warlock and run Kazakusan as a win condition. Or I said Even Warlock, right? So like this not only does this give you the dragons and stuff to play Kazakusan as a win condition, but like you get the extra card for nothing. You could play your stuff easier. This is a lot of like meme potential for me. I'm excited to like build silly cards with it, but obviously it's not going to be any good. Disguised Kathir, 5 mana, 3/3. Each turn this is in your hand, transform into a random card in your opponent's deck. So Chameleos is now neutral. Enjoy it. Tram Operator, 5 mana, 4/4 mech. Draw a mech. The next mech you play costs you less. Is this good enough for standard? Nobody knows. I certainly don't. Goodbye. XB488 Disposal Bot, 5 mana, 3/2 mech. Deal 5 damage, randomly split among all enemy minions. Forge, gain lifesteal. Is this the Magic Forge card? That's it's so bad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Seems awful. It's better than what you call it. Warrior got one of these that cost 5. It has 2 more stats, but the effect is worse, and you have the option to make this lifesteal. So this is better than the Warrior mech that used to do this. But like better than a card that's long outdated is it's whatever. Flame Behemoth, 6 mana, 4/5 mech. Get 2 random mechs. Get 2 random magnetic mechs. They cost 2 less. Pretty good for standard. Is this good enough for a while? Magnetic mechs is a much smaller pool, and we have a lot of discounts happening. Like, I don't know if you guys have played Leviathan and Gaia in your mech decks, but like they get pretty cheap. I mean, like I don't think that's going to be amazing, but there's a chance it makes the cut. It's a small chance. It's probably not going to, but it's all right. Containment Unit, 7 mana, 6/6 mech. Magnetic, Death Rattle, summon a random 8-cost minion. So you can play this. It's Death Rattle summons the Drake. That's Death Rattle summons a 7. That's Death Rattle summons the Drake. That summons this. That summons the Drake. That summons this. That summons the Drake. That summons this. Infinite random. Prison of Yogg we've played with. It's as good as it is. Kologarn, 8 mana, 6/10. Various words on a card. What do they mean? You don't know. I don't know. There was not the text box necessary to explain this well. But leading theories are when this attacks a minion, that minion will go into your hand, and this will not take damage. Then, when this dies, if you still have any of the minions that this put in your hand, they go back to your opponent's hand. They showed how it works. I believe you. However, I did not watch it, so I'm going to stick to my funny. Is this any good in anything? 8 mana, 6/10. Destroy whatever this attacks. How good would that be? Pretty mid. I can see this being like really annoying and obnoxious in standard, to be honest. But like, I don't know how good it's going to be. It's probably not going to be good in wild. Son of Hodir. So 8 mana, 8/8 battle cry. Shuffle 4 8/8 giants into your deck that are summoned when drawn. So this is the type of thing that 3/3 goes with, right? So you play this on 8, then you lose. But if you don't, you play the 3/3 and draw your giant, and it's funny. What could I do this in? Druid, I guess. Druid can ramp. That sounds like a cool video. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I don't expect it to be an amazing card. Jumbo Druid, yep. Storm Giant, 8 mana, 8/8 taunt. Forge to, if you forge, it costs you less. Can be forged endlessly. So here's the thing: you're still paying 8 mana for an 8/8 taunt. You're just doing it. You're making payments over time. It's so bad. I wish this was like, Forge for mana cheat, like cost 3 less. Even then, I don't know how you word this. It's like, Man, if this costs 6, how good would it be? So you only have to do it 3 times. Bad. But it would activate Ignis and not be like hot trash. So anyways, like, I think this is a really interesting set. I'm especially excited for Warrior and Warlock. But there's a lot of stuff to play with here. Druid, as usual, is going to be super fun. Death Knight and Wild's getting nothing. Hopefully it revives my fun for Death Knight in Standard, because I still have like the better part of 400 games to go to get my 1K portrait. But anyways, if you enjoyed this Martian review, thank you for watching it, I guess, and I will see you eventually again someday. Goodbye forever.